say that there are two, three things which I do regularly. One, before going to bed every night, I ask one question to myself. And my life has been a learning lesson. And each episode of my life is a story. And these stories, I keep on repeating and sharing these stories with people, which inspires a lot of people. My only simple three words: desire, determination, and dare.
Great morning, audience. It's a beautiful, amazing Sunday morning at around 8 o'clock. And while many CHROs, many HR professionals, many top leaders in organizations might still be asleep, and that's absolutely great because at least on one day, people have to spend some time, with their family. Because I always talk about while talking about the field of coaching, because there is a whiteboard here where just a couple of days before I drew this wheel of life. So we had some program because I've been doing some programs in the morning also. So between 5:30 to 6:30, that is the best time when people can actually reflect back on their life. So I was just going, we were talking about wheel of life, and wheel of life has got one very important aspect, which is that of family. So it's absolutely great. People have got every right to spend some time with family on Sunday. And still on this beautiful Sunday morning, there is one person who is there with me up and awake before 8 o'clock so that he can share some of the nuggets of wisdom based on his life and career with people with the single objective of making this world slightly better than it was before 8 o'clock in the morning. I welcome Sudhir Mateti to this heart-to-heart conversation, Sudhir, because it's all about having very open conversation, because what I've seen happening in corporates is that in many places that people do not have this heart-to-heart conversation, these deep conversations. So mostly what people do is to, have this, okay, tell me, sir, how are you in the morning? Good morning, great morning, let's have a cup of tea. And then beyond that, nobody goes beyond that, because what I've seen is that everybody has got a lot of books and a lot of lessons and a lot of memories and a lot of stories within them. It's just that it does not come out, because people have gone through the furnace of life and hearth of life and whatever we call it. And they have got so many inspiring lessons which actually should come out. So we are going to keep it free-flowing, audience. And yesterday I was there in one of the places very close to Pune. This place is not exactly close, almost 3 hours drive, 100 kilometers, more than 100 kilometers, almost 120 kilometers.
Okay.
And I was there with in one of the seminars in which for the first time in my life and career, I saw more than 60 directors and presidents and vice presidents of HR. They were there in the audience. And then after the program got over, somebody came and said that I'm speechless, And Arun, can we have more programs? People from Cipla, Emerson, and many of these companies. And then I started getting a lot of messages. So while I was driving back, the program got over at around 6:30 in the evening. And then I started driving back. I reached Pune by 9:30, 10 o'clock in the night. And then I could see that a lot of messages were coming. It was one of the happiest, most, that meaningful moments of my life. When I was driving back, I was enjoying. I just downed the window and then I started feeling that gush of nice cool breeze while driving back from Baramati, which is one of the very, very, it's a VIP seats for, I think, Maharashtra, and beautiful place, very well developed place. And then while driving back, I was reflecting back, and still I'm getting some messages from some very senior people because they want me to conduct some more programs. While driving back, I was reflecting back on my life, because it all started very small. And of course, we all are on the journey. We all have to, things will keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But I was just thinking about my first couple of seminars or whatever talks which I had in some of these educational institutions very close to, I think in Pune only. And whenever I used to go and deliver some talks in some of these MBA colleges, I used to see one person, Sudhir, also sharing some of the thoughts. Sudhir, first of all, let me put my hands together, because anybody who spent some time on Sunday while trying to make this world better, or not trying, while actually making this world better, while sharing his nuggets of wisdom, while delivering talks, while being a part of these, for example, heart-to-heart conversation, while going to some MBA colleges and having spoken to thousands of people in one session, I've seen you doing that. It's because of one seed, and that is the seed of purpose, a meaning in life. You are working for 6 days, and then on 7th day, which is actually supposed to be for your family, you still take out a couple of hours, and then maybe your family also might be wondering as why Papa or why my, your wife also might be thinking that why Sudhir is not spending that time with us, and then why is he going to some of these institutions. It's not an easy thing, but it's something which is full of fun. And I think journey starts small, Sudhir. but then you start getting that sense of enlightenment. So Sudhir, thank you so much for being there. And audience, I think let me share something about Sudhir. Sudhir has been a veteran in the field of human resources, HR transformation, training people, being a part of organizational development, learning and development. Sudhir started his career almost 26 years ago. In 1996, he has started his career as a soft skill as well as product trainer, and then he has risen the ladders of life and career. Today, he is the head of HR in Sintel Telecom, and before that, he has worked in Aditya Birla Retail Limited, and before that, the Mobile Store Limited, and before that, Tata Business Support Services Limited, Servizol. And I think let it come from Sudhir. Sudhir, when you look back on your life and career, and when you look back on some of these Sundays which you have spent, I also have seen you having delivered some talks in some of the village areas where there are thousands and thousands of अथाह jan samandar आपके सामने है, और Sudhir is delivering a talk with a little tilak. You know that he has been welcomed recently by people, and then he's delivering his talk. Sudhir, when you look back on life and career, which are some of the key words or which are some of those thoughts which come to your mind? Once again, welcome, and thank you so much for being a part of this heart-to-heart conversation.
Thank you, Arunji, for taking out time and inviting me for this program. It's a wonderful opportunity to share my thoughts. Number one, yes, the question that you posed at me is, tell me some nuggets of the past. I go to these colleges, I go to these rural villages because probably that is my purpose of life. My purpose of life is to enhance employability and give them jobs for all those people who have spent a lot of money from their noses to educate their children, and they still land up with no jobs. We produce millions of engineers. Every boy wants to become an engineer, and every parent wants their son to become an engineer. And there's no employment for these engineers.
Yeah.
So I am working for last almost 2 decades, single-handedly, to help these engineers get jobs.
I think it's a big topic which you've raised, Sudhir. I think this interaction is going to be one of the most powerful interactions because this is like a pandemic. There are thousands and lakhs of people who are graduating from some of these colleges, in rural areas, in tier 3 kind of towns or tier 2 towns, and we are not even talking about cities. And what happens to them once they graduate? There are some of the colleges where people study in some of the biggest of cities, and then they get jobs and all that because there are some campus records. But what is happening to these people? What exactly they are doing? It's an amazing, very important topic which you have brought. Thank you so much, Sudhir. You can go on, carry on. Yeah, beautiful.
Yes. No, you shoot questions. I'll answer it.
Yeah. No, this is. No, I think your answers itself, what you said itself has got a lot of clues and a lot of questions and a lot of points for the audience to ponder. I think let me start with one. So audience, with due respect, with all the respect and love, and thank you so much for watching this video. And please do share these links because you never know how some of these interactions can actually change somebody's thought and can actually make it better. Let's think it over for a while. We are talking to Sudhir, who is talking about thousands and lakhs of students who might be struggling to get a job. How many of us actually thought about it? How many of us actually went beyond the realms of our family and our salary and our weekend fun in a mall and the things which we are doing, which are absolutely important? Because I just spoke about wheel of life. It's important. Family time is very important. Your fun and recreation, which is also one of the spokes, is very important. But when was the last time we thought about somebody from the society? It's an amazing question. I think let's just stop at this question, pause at this question itself. I think if I can request to everybody who is watching this video, just take some 10 minutes time, 15 minutes time, and think about one problem in the society which you think you can do something about. It's matching with your power, your talent, your ability to make a difference. And one problem in the society which you think should be addressed, that will give you your purpose. We have just defined purpose. It's always about, the world accept you. It's about something to do with the outside world. Thank you so much, Sudhir. That is awesome. And Sudhir, I see that you have started your career as a trainer in different areas, product trainer, technical training as well as soft skill. And then you worked in this field for almost 5 to 6 years time. And then gradually you came to the field of HR. If you ask me, training, facilitation, HR, these are all intertwined. You can't separate them. A HR person has to be a heart-to-heart trainer. When you speak, people's heart get touched. If HR does not have it, all the degrees do not hold any meaning if you are not much meaning, because then HR will have heart-to-heart conversation and connection with top bosses, not with people. HR has to maintain this, kind of HR is always a cycle, it's a circle, right? So you also have to maintain a very good connection with your boss, with your manager, with your leader, which is very important. You also need to maintain a very good connection with your peers, and more importantly, with people down the line. And I think being a trainer, I'm pretty sure must have helped you. Would you like to share something about this support which you must have got because of the fact that you have started your career as a trainer, the support in the field of HR, how both are getting connected?
See, I always believe that our wake hours in our family is very limited. We go to our house, all working professionals, whether young or old, they go to their house to eat, drink, and sleep at the end. They spend some couple of hours with the family. The larger wake hours, conscious hours spent is in the office. And most people forget to realize that in office also we have a family. This is the formula which I've been working for last 3 decades. I consider my team as a family.
Very good.
I have not only mentored my team for professional career growth, I have also taken care of all the challenges of life, whether it is medical, whether it is financial, whether it is marital, whether it is relationship, whatever.
Awesome.
I have taken all the women or the girls who worked in my team. I was the one, their family used to call me to select their group for them. Mr. Mateti, unless you say yes, we'll not get my daughter married to this group.
Wow.
I have ensured that they bought their houses. I have ensured that their they delivered a healthy baby and they were fit and fine. It is not only the maternity law as per labor law, but I ensure that all women who go through delivery or pregnancy in my organization are healthy far before they go through that journey. So it's an entire life cycle that I take charge of my team, and they are my people and they are my strongest asset.
Sudhir, I'm pretty sure while watching this video, many employees would be praying that I wish we also become a team member of Sudhir, because I think this Sudhir is one of those people, one of those leaders who actually has to create many clones of himself if he can do so. I'm just using a very loose word, but I think very broadly speaking. But I think the message is clear. I think, Sudhir, I'm really touched today, as you said in last couple of minutes, what you said. Because what it means is that I'm already talking to a person who knows what is the meaning of H2HC, heart-to-heart connection. And no surprises that we are talking in this H2HC series interaction, because it's all about law of attraction. We somehow get connected with people and things and situations based on our thought process. It's amazing, Sudhir. And I think there is a lot which we are all going to learn from you, because this kind of connection, this deep feeling for your team members is something which is not heard of, in many corporates. And this is one thing which is required. I said that it's all about connection. And I think you are one of the living legends, I'll say, in this field. So Sudhir, it's very interesting. You give the example that even, in case of some women employees, even before they got married, they used to the parents used to seek your advice, which is very important, by the way. Absolutely. Because when it comes to relationships, it's even more serious a matter than career and money.
When I was young as a trainer, also people used to consider me as a guardian. Today, by virtue of graying my hair, I'm old. Even today, people consider my guardian.
Wow. So you make me absolutely feel happy and lightened on this Sunday morning. Wow. So Sudhir, this is very interesting. And Sudhir, while talking about the field of HR, because normally I have been talking about it also, and I've been writing about it, that normally when people talk about HR, they talk about some very complex noodle-like structures and circles and triangles and quadrilaterals and rectangles and squares getting into, and then there are some world's biggest multinational HR consulting companies which will talk about the structures, not about this connect, which you can't bind in structures. Would you like to say something about some of the changes which you think, or some of the reflection points on which HR professionals of today need to reflect on? If you ask me, I can deliver a two days session on this while making people do some exercises, because unless they do exercise, they won't get the experience. But I wanted to hear from you. It's a topic very close to my heart, because all that I have got today is because of HR. Some changes, some reflections which you think HR people should do.
See, I will not suggest what changes HR people should do. I will share what I have done.
Please, that's the best. It all starts from within.
It all starts from within. Am I right? Correct. There was an organization where I worked, and probably I was in the junior most ladder of HR.
Yeah.
And there was a thumb rule to hire store people.
Yeah.
And the thumb rule basic eligibility was 10th pass,
10th pass.
And I had to recruit huge numbers like 300, 350 people recruitment per month, huge number of recruitment. I just posed a question to the management, why 10th pass? Why did this come across? Why do you need 10th pass?
Asking the basics. Asking the
Correct.
basics is very important. Don't accept
Yes,
things just lying down.
and
Ask.
they all were everybody in the system were not open to challenge this rule created by the senior management.
Yeah.
I said no, why 10th pass? And I could dare to get this question right across the board and ask this question, why 10th pass? They said that because it is a retail store, a lot of people would not know complex names, pronounce complex name, or bring those products to the customer. That's why it is 10th pass. I said, can you give me an opportunity to train those people who are extremely 9th fail, 8th fail, 7th fail, but who can do this task?
Yeah.
It is not knowledge or certification, it is the skill which is required.
Yeah, skill, most important.
So
absolutely.
I created a sample batch of people, 30 people from rural villages, taught them different things by visually showing them products and telling them this is this, a 30-day batch. And believe me, 100% pass out. And that broke that law, and that told that all those people who can do that job should be hired.
Awesome, Sudhir. You are actually, I can see resonance with all that you said. It's all about, first of all, learning. It's all about skill. It's all about that, connection with the products and with the services with the company. And then comes much later it comes something which people prefer calling as qualifications and degrees and certificates. I have seen people who have got very simple degrees, and what they have done is something which is mesmerizing. And I'm pretty sure we can take at least dozens of them right now. So I think you have been touching across that, which is awesome. And what really touched my heart is the fact that you have been taking all these efforts. Whereas, let's not talk about one profession, whereas mostly I've seen people doing something as a matter of tick mark, maybe because they do not feel that passion. It's very clear while talking to you that you are a person who is passionate for the field of people transformation, people engagement, let them get a job, so that, that is the first step for them to make it think better, and they can actually get some time to actually make it better for them and bigger for the society. Awesome. So Sudhir, I think this is amazing. Sudhir, would you like to talk about some of the people in the society who have been inspiring you by their work and by their thoughts?
See, there are a lot of people who inspire me. What is most important is I always don't go by names, I don't go by degrees, I don't go by designations, or I don't go by material gains, like someone who comes in a BMW or stays in a, all those material achievements does not inspire me. What inspires me is an ability to help someone, desire to help someone. An office boy from my office inspires me when he goes out of his duty and performs something which is out, beyond his call of duty. What inspires me is someone, random human being who stops on the road, seeing a road accident, and goes out of his call of duty to help someone who is struggling for life. What inspires me is a dog who is brutally injured, but he's still trying to help a cat come out of a pit. All these small opportunities that I see around me inspire me, and that triggers me, the extra fuel in me to do something more for people around.
क्या बात है सुधीर जी, आपने तो मतलब दिल बागवा कर दिया है. I remember in one of these conversations somebody asked me a question, Arun, I am very happy to see that you are calling common people. I said nobody is common. If you ask me, common people, if I take one example only for the sake of illustration, for no other purpose, if you ask me, each person that I'm talking to and every person in the society has got the ability at least to become bigger than some of the superstars in any field.
Absolutely right.
Because the power lies within. And I have seen that happening when I, from writing not a single chapter till the age of 42 years, I started writing a whole book in 10-15 days. And then ended up writing 10-12 books, which I've completed in this year. I just said, everybody has got double the power, 10 times the power, whatever it's not about number, than the power which I have got. It's just that, and there is no limitation. There is no limit actually, Sudhir. Every person is a superhero, not only hero, superhero in my eyes. And that's the reason I think people have been sharing some feedback with me after watching some of these conversations, that around this conversation looks like this is more powerful than the conversation which I have seen some superstar having with another superstar. I said, yes, all the lessons, all the inspiring stories are hidden, and that's the reason actually, Sudhir, I've been holding as many H2AC series conversations as possible. Today, again, I've got another CHRO who is going to come at 10 o'clock, and right now it's around 8:30 when I have this conversation. Awesome, Sudhir, awesome. And I think I'm getting inspired. I need to meet you more often because what you're saying is absolutely rocky. So you are absolutely right, Sudhir. I fully agree because there are a lot of superheroes, a lot of inspiring stories, and there are many heroes around us in our neighborhood. It's just that some people do not realize it. So, with some kind of working, I do not use the word trainer, teacher, and coach and all that. I just say that I can just inspire people to learn. A restore is there. They are like, होता ना जो अगर थोड़ा सा crude example है, बारूद का पूरा वो भरा हुआ है. It's positive. I'm saying in a positive way. We are just like a magic stick. थोड़ा सा touch करेंगे ना, there is an explosion of power which can transform the world. And that's how you see a lot of examples of people who didn't have qualification and all that. They ended up doing something which is 100 times lot more bigger than the work which is done by some of the Stanford graduates. I'm not taking the taking example. See, with due respect, we are saying that please, audience, I think take some time with yourself. And I think I always tell people that spend some time in the morning. That's the reason I started this program, Sudhir, which I've been doing at 5:30 in the morning. Many corporate people also have started joining now. Corporate people plus people from different walks of life, because this is the time people have to spend some time with themselves while thinking about their purpose, their talent, their strengths. Otherwise, they will always be believing, thanks to the world of advertisement. And there are people who are working behind making a superstar, thanks to this word, inverted comma, thanks. That people at last do not realize the fact that they have got the power to become a superpower. That's very important. It's not only that America is superpower. If you look at countries, there are many countries which can actually become superpower. But the media, advertisement, Twitter will say, this is a superpower. No, it's not true. Coming to people, people have got the power to become superpower. Sudhir, this is awesome. Sudhir, would you like to share some movies which inspire you? And then we'll come to some more interesting stuff. Yeah. Some movies which inspired you.
See, I have not
if
seen
I don't
much
get
of
time to watch movies.
Yes. For me, my interaction with people, I'm a people's person. So I have not learned from books. I have not learned from movies. I have learned from people.
And that's what you're doing now.
Life.
We're learning from people.
Every minute in life I have spent with people around, whether I am traveling, whether I am doing whatever I am doing, I am with people. I have read less number of books. I have read more number of people.
Very good. And I think people who have been seeing my videos, they know that I always have been saying that everybody has got more than 10 books within him. I'm talking about any person. Sudhir, one day I recall having a conversation with one of my friends who is a managing director in a company. We're just driving in Pune, on the streets of Pune. I just paused. I stopped the car on the left-hand side. I told him, Mr. ABC, can you see this chai wala, this person who is serving to you for last 10 years time? I'm getting a feeling now. That was the time when I had started doing some work in this field. I said that if I just take this guy, away from his normal work for half an hour time, and suppose I make him just sit in silence, and if you can, have some conversation, I've got full conviction that if this guy has got a little seed of, making it bigger, he can become bigger than MBA Chaiwalas and any person, because everybody has got this power. And I think what you said is very important. Reading people. And Sudhir, by the way, this is not something for everybody, because many people do not read. Forget about reading. They do not even have deep conversation with people. Their conversation will never go beyond good morning and good evening, because maybe because of the fact that people also keep their guards on. In today's world, I'm pretty sure after watching this video, Sudhir is going to get call from many people. Hey, Sudhir, sir, can you read? Can we talk? Can we have some conversation? Because people do not know whom to open their heart and whom not to open their heart.
Correct.
Excellent. So we spoke about some of these aspects. Sudhir, while hiring people, I think already made it clear that you are looking for some, you believe in the fact that people can build their skills. But still, would you like to share some of the, for the sake of benefit of HR professionals, some of the qualities which you think people should be looking for while hiring people, so that it becomes easy for them to train and build their skills? Which are some of those traits and qualities which you think HR professionals should be looking for while hiring people? And we are talking about in general for other companies.
See, what I have observed most commonly is people look forward for degrees, people look forward for knowledge, people look forward for experience.
Continuity in service, degree.
Correct. But what I understand is we hire people based on competencies, but we fire people based on behavior.
And behavior also, we are talking about the behavior which is in my perception. A leader may get a feeling that his behavior is not matching with mine. So that is another matter of perception. Very interesting. Go on, please.
Correct. So I always believe that human behavior is very important. So all those people who are into talent acquisition, my road which I have applied, I'm not saying this is the right road. The road which I have applied in my life is I understand human behavior a little more than what I used to understand some 2 decades ago. So I have understood by this human behavior that who has a grit in them, who has determination, who has a purpose to work, what is the force behind him to work. And if we understand this human behavior and hire people who are more, desire to move up the ladder, are the right ones to hire. So if we hire people based on competencies and behavior, not rather than competencies for behavior and for their desire and grit, I think that would be a right mixture of combination.
But once again, you have brought us to the topic which we just talking about a bit earlier in this conversation, that the ability to understand the behavior and read people is something which very few HR professionals have. And this is one of my key points which I discuss with people, that keep the qualifications aside. First, you develop the art of connecting with people. Forget about, I think, before you come to the stage of reading people. First of all, let's learn the art of reading. First, let's learn the alphabets of people, and their behavior of people. And then once we start connecting, then I think people come to a stage where they can actually look at people, talk to them, and then they can get a sense about what kind of behavior people are going to possess. Any suggestions for HR professionals so that they can build this skill? That's the next question, Sudhir. How HR professionals can also be better at understanding the behavior of people in the course of interviews. How to develop themselves, because first they have to develop themselves so that they can start understanding people.
I'll tell you what I have done in my life.
Please.
Okay. So if you look at any organization where you work, you will have 3 categories of people who are successful in their job role, or people who are performers, people who are average, and people who are low performers. 3 categories of people, correct? So if we try to read and analyze the commonality between all these people, and also commonality between their behavior patterns. For example, now I have understood by behavior pattern that people, while talking, their body language, if their one eyebrow goes up, what does it mean? If 2 eyebrows goes up, what does it mean? If their one cheek slides a little, what does it mean? If one shoulder droops, what does it mean? So there is a lot of commonality, and it requires a deep observation of human
Observation
behavior.
is the action, first action point for people. Very nice. Please carry on. Observation.
Yes. And if you can draw a line of these observations and commonality between different kinds of people with some experiences that you have, and try to build dots and join these data points together, there will be a lot of learning on platform, and then you will have more wisdom than you think you can. So observation is the key learning.
Very, very important point, Sudhir. I always tell people that, when I started writing, my wife used to ask, why you're writing so many books? Why don't you already have done one book, then go for marketing and selling and all that? I said, no, I'm writing because writing is the best way of reflection. So every day, whatever I'm observing, I'm writing back. And I'm writing back about my life, my observation. For example, if just HR professionals do one thing, we are staying on the same question. If every day in the morning they spend some 15-20 minutes time, maybe half an hour time, while writing about their experiences from yesterday, when they observe something about these 3 categories which you spoke about, and then if they just write down their observations, if they do this one habit, if they practice this one thing for next 30 days, they will start seeing a remarkable improvement in their ability to observe and connect the dots. Isn't it? Connect the dots. I think one problem which I have been seeing, Sudhir, in the society is that, and I think we all are part of society, we do not observe, we do not reflect, we do not reflect, we do not reflect. And I think every day, we are letting every day walk past us without teaching us some lessons. What a waste of the biggest teaching in the city in this world, and that is life. That's the reason I ask people to write something, and at least sit in silence. If you can't write, just sit in silence and think about last 24 hours and think about some of these massive moments. For example, coming to this skill, if people just think about last 24 hours and they can think about 2 or 3 interactions which they had, and how did they see the bodily, kind of movements and their body language, their facial expressions, if they start reflecting, they will start seeing the connection. That's the reason people also might have seen that some of the biggest of success stories are created by people who are learning from Zindagi Ki Pathshala. This is all getting connected. So Sudhir, awesome.
One practice here, Arun.
Please go on.
One practice here.
Yeah.
I have a gallery in my factory from where I can see employees walking into the factory. Okay.
Wow, wow.
Every day morning, I reach almost 45 minutes before time and I stand there and watch people parking their vehicle and walking into the factory. And their walk tells me whether they have some urgent work at desk, they have to hurry, there is some trouble in their personal life, whatever. I make notes of names which have a troubled walk. And I ask my team members to get information from the grapevine if there is some information. Or if I don't get, I connect with them, I find out the information and try to make some better in their life, if I can improve their life. So these are small observations which help. So a daily observation of a walk from the vehicle, parking vehicle to the factory door is something that tells me huge amount of information about people. This is what I do for last 15 years.
Beautiful. See, you have been practicing this over last 15 years, which is awesome because after 15 years, you become a person who can just walk, talk to a person, who can watch a person, talk to a person, in exchange some pleasantries, and then you can get to know a lot about the person, how the person is actually thinking. Is the person happy or is he having some kind of problem? Yesterday, in the course of my interactions, talk and kind of interaction engagement with people, I said one thing that, I used to be a person till 10 years ago who used to go to a shop floor and then used to get something. Today, if I go to a shop floor and if I just spend 5 minutes time, if I just take a 360-degree look and talk to 1 or 2 people, I'll get to know. I can write a half page about the company. क्या DNA चल रहा है, क्या gap है, क्या अच्छी बातें हैं, and which are those 3 action point, and I can hang and fold it, I can hand it over to the managing director. ये सुधीर ना, ये पूरा अपना, it's all about we. Transformation is always about ourselves, it's never about other people. All that I've learned in life is that first all we can do is to change ourselves, and once we change ourselves, the entire world can be changed. The fault, I think the mistake which people do, even something which even most of us do, even I used to do that, is to think that, there is a problem with this guy and this guy and this boss and this guy, and let them change, and why should I change? And actually in corporate culture, this is promoted. What is promoted is to actually pinpoint about some of the loopholes in the structures, in the processes, about their peers, about teams. People talk about a lot of, there is a culture of feedback. So everybody is giving a feedback to others. Why don't you give a feedback to yourself? Why don't we have this habit of giving a feedback? There are 3 feedbacks which are giving, but nobody has. People just talk about it. They do not get the message. Still HR will say, yeah, you are, these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And every time 5 feedbacks have been enumerated and listed by somebody, 5 into 3, 15 feedbacks are coming towards the person who is giving feedback. But it's going to take some time. We have to do something about this culture. The culture of giving feedback. I have seen, Sudhir, in the time, I think now is the time of performance appraisal system, performance management system. So I've seen many bosses, many senior people. I say this with respect, because it's all about our transformation. It's not about others. I've seen that many senior people will come, hey, Mr. Arun, let's say, Mr. ABC, let's come. Thank you so much for joining me. This is performance appraisal. If at all, this is something like this. Okay, so now this annual appraisal, good. So you have done this 1, 2 thing, which is good. And then the moment they come to the feedback, their eyes will shine. Okay, now there are something which you have to improve by 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Oh my God. And I used to wonder why this guy is having so much happiness while talking about feedback, because then he gets in control. He feels in control because we have got people who are insecure and weak. I'm saying this while looking at people into their eyes, because then I realized that first let's all improve ourselves as a manager, as a leader, as a strength counter, as a feedback giver. Empathy, that empathy has to be there. Why should somebody like listening to all your feedback? When he sees that the moment you turn to feedback from a strength, your eyes have started shining. He can see that you are feeling more confident now. Why should he listen to you? Because he's getting a feeling that he's a boss who is not caring for me. He's caring for himself. Now he's feeling happy because now it is a turn of giving feedback. I think we are talking about very micro points, Sudhir. And I think there's a huge scope for us to do something about the world, because we have done something with ourselves. It's all, I'm saying this with a lot of humility. So, Sudhir, awesome, great. Yeah, go on.
I very often tell to people that it is HR, human resource. It is not IHR, inhuman resource.
Yeah.
So, while our job entitles us to push procedures, while our job entitles us to ensure that people adhere to procedures, policies, and so many other things, but there is a very subtle and a warm way of getting these things done. So by the virtue of rolling offer letters as a talent acquisition or an HR person, people slowly get their air. One caution note to all those HR professionals are, we are doing our job, and if we do our job from heart and soul with a little pinch of warmth, love, and affection and attachment with people, we are for the people, by the people, and for them. And if we do that, we really turn to be human resource, not an inhuman resource. Let us understand that we are not IHR, we are VHR.
No, this is absolutely true. Absolutely true, Sudhir. And this is a very important point. Actually, see, it's not something which is to be celebrated. It's something which makes us reflect back, and we can get a feeling as how big a task which we have to do, how big an opportunity that we can see if we can just work with people, inspire them to look for some seeds of self transformation and awakening. What a transformation we can see people bringing within organizations, isn't it? It's all about people, it's all about HR. And Sudhir, even I used to be one of those HR people while still working as head of HR in some of these largest multinationals, while thinking about the fact that I know it all. And then the day I went to the field of self transformation, I realized that nobody can ever think, even while being in one specific micro niche field, that he or she knows everything about that field. It's all about self-learning. All that we can do is to develop ourselves. And then we become a person who starts seeing the entire world in a very high resolution. And you can actually zoom in. And that's the reason I give this example that, I personally realize that if I just go and spend 5 minutes time while talking to 2 or 3 people, middle management and some kind of people on the shop floor, you get to know the exact thing about a company. You don't have to even spend 5 days of deep diving experience, which is done by many consulting organizations. So, Mr. ABC Managing Director, we are going to have 5 days of deep dive and 10 days of a study and 20 days, and then this is the charge fee. I'm not saying anything against anything. We are all talking about these basics, which are very important. I think we have to get the basics right. So, Sudhir, this is awesome. Would you like to ask any question to me, Sudhir, before I ask 1 or 2 little queries? Would you like to ask any question to me? Because we are 2 HR professionals talking to each other. I'm at the core of me. It's actually, I love being in the field of HR. And by the way, I came to the field of HR from sales and from some other functions, marketing. But once a bit, it was a field of my passion, even while being in supply chain, while working in Tata Steel Limited. So, just to share with you something very interesting. We are talking about passion. I was working as supply chain head in one of the business units in Tata Steel, and it was nowhere in my career to conduct programs for people. And that time there was one initiative which came from the managing director's office, which is very important an initiative. When I say office, I mean it was cumulative decision, but this was known as Lakshya 2007. When Tata Steel, that was the time when Tata Steel was, taking a lot of initiatives to claw it, kind of glory back, because, open door economy and all that had started happening. So the company wanted to become EVA positive. The HR people were looking for some people from the business to conduct 45 sessions in 45 days. Each session was going to be in the form of a workshop for half a day, and I did 45 workshops in 45 days without finding it in the KRA list. That is called, if you feel for something, just go and do it. No, I'm just saying this and I'm talking about 2002, 2003, 2004, I think. So that's the way I think things have started changing. I think one request to all the audience is to just think about what excites you. Yesterday, while driving back, I'm going to share some of the pictures also. It's very interesting. It was dark and it was beautiful road. Maharashtra has got beautiful roads. While driving from Baramati to Pune, I just kept the windows down once again. And then I was just thinking, I was getting the sense of fulfillment. And that's the sense of fulfillment I want all the audience to get. And that will happen only when you do something which you truly feel for. You can see that happiness, that smile which I can see on the face of Sudhir ever since we have started interacting. So Sudhir, may this smile keep on growing, keep on getting better. Any question from you, and then I will have little queries, and then we can. I think we are already getting close to 1 hour.
There is some public noise. There is some background noise here.
I can't hear anything. It's all clear. I think your speaker is very good. I think microphone is very good. I can't hear anything. It's all great. Very nice.
Okay, great. So
any question which you want to ask me?
So nothing. I am just want to say that I'm a small man trying to do my bit. My intuition or my instinct tells me to inspire people around me.
Yeah.
I probably send motivational messages to more than 2,000 people every morning.
Yeah.
And those motivational messages are self-scripted that comes to my thoughts. And my life has been a learning lesson. And each episode of my life is a story. And these stories, I keep on repeating and sharing these stories with people, which inspires a lot of people. I would rather be thankful to you for taking such time and talking to me.
Thank you.
And probably this video and similar such videos that you have created with people around will inspire furthermore. Arunji, you are doing a great job, and you will take the torch from my hand and probably go to millions of people ahead. Thank you so much.
We'll certainly meet together, Sudhir. Sudhir, coming back to the point with which we have started this conversation, because I think I'm pretty sure that I'm talking to somebody who's got deep expertise in many fields, including this field, which I'm going to broach once again. You spoke about this field of unemployment among village rural. Would you like to share something about some data or something about it? Because I think it looks like you have spent a lot of time in this field. Please share something. What exactly is the nature of problem in the country and something, whatever you want to share?
See, we all produce millions of engineers year on year. And all these engineers do not have a career roadmap. They only know that they want to become an engineer, and after becoming an engineer, what next? The only lucrative job that appears on table today is a software professional. So every engineer finally wants to become a software professional and then finally land up. I often ask academicians, big academicians, what is the objective of education?
Yeah.
The objective of education is to merely earn a bread and butter. Then I'm sorry, it's a very short-lived objective.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So I go back to basics. I teach them what is the objective of education. If you want to become a software professional, no problem. But there are so many other routes which can take you to becoming a software professional, not necessarily an engineering road. Correct?
Wow.
I very oftenly say that an engineering degree is only a degree of hard work. It certifies that you have done extremely good hard work. It surely does not certify talent. It surely does not certify quantum of knowledge. It surely does not certify skills. So in the process, what I see that so many engineers graduating with no job. The academicians are not working with the industry people. I'm working in telecommunication industry for the last 15 years. Not one HOD of telecommunications has come to me and understood that, sir, what can we improvise our curriculum so that they can be readily employed? No. There's a huge gap between hands-on. When I take a management trainee, it takes 1.5 years for me to graduate them to basic employability skills. The journey is big. Right now, I am devising with few of my industry professionals a program which will bring their employability skills ratio to very high. Globally, our Indian employability skill after graduation is only 3 to 4%. Whereas average international rating of employability skills after graduation is around 34%.
Oh, what a gap. What a gap.
It's a huge gap. It's a huge gap. So the colleges are providing knowledge, but there's a huge, tremendous need of providing skills. It's not knowledge. What will fetch them jobs are skills, not knowledge. Yes, knowledge is important. Knowledge coupled with skills is a combination which we are looking at, and coupled with the right attitude to work. Today, if you look at a young gentleman, his average tenure in an organization is 1 year, 1.5 years. Before he learns something, he gets a better package, he moves on. So what has become the core objective? The core objective is to earn more money, and it's a vicious circle. Life is expensive today. To own a house is expensive. To own a car is expensive. Lifestyles are expensive. Everything is expensive. It's overpriced. If you go and buy a car, it is overpriced today. The product value of that car is far more lesser, and the price
highly overpriced. Highly overpriced.
Everything is overpriced. Now, this is a vicious circle because they are overpriced. Education is also overpriced. Everything is overpriced. People want the first package that they want is also overpriced. Now, where will this vicious circle end? Today a fresh graduate deserves to get a 6.5 lakh package or 7 lakhs package because they have a EMI on hand.
Very interesting, Sudhir. I think we can have another round of conversation where we can go deeper into it. It's a very important, very powerful thing, because I often wonder that technology has been getting better. Now, what is the use of technology? The use of technology is to make it easier, is to make it cheaper also, right? We have seen that mass production. But why is it happening that despite technology getting better, the cost of cars and everything is getting more? You talk about any television, boss. There was a time when we used to get a television for 15,000, 10,000. Our parents used to get a television, Sony television. We're talking about branded television. 15,000 television आता तभी क्यों television 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh का जाता है क्यों? Technology has gone better, then why television cost has increased 10 times? We don't even know. And this is happening in every field. So what you have touched is absolutely valid a point, and this is happening in every field, education, everywhere. because everything is driving the cost of everything. Even a teacher has to spend that money while buying a car, which is inflated. So a teacher is going to ask for inflated prices, whatever salary, while getting admission, while joining an academic institution. And since this car manufacturing marketing, I spoke about marketing and selling advertisement. It's a very interesting field for me because I see the आवरण है ना वो पता चलता है मेरे देख कर लोगों को मतलब कुछ areas को. I think it's important part. Marketing advertisement is all great, but I'm just talking about the आवरण which is getting created. They also are watching these people in Pune who are getting higher salary because everything is leading to the increase in everything else, right? So they also are increasing the prices while knowing fully well that there are people who are going to get those shiny black, Kia Carnivals. So if people are ready to pay, why should they not raise the prices? So it's a very vicious circle which is going into. Now I'm going to share something which we can do something about, Sudhir, and it's something which is a field in which you are working. Let me change the background. You said something very important, that there are thousands and lakhs of people in villages who are becoming engineers. You are listening to an engineer who got into the field of human transformation, organizational transformation. Okay. Now, this engineer became an engineer because maybe his father wanted to become an engineer. My father was in accountancy, finance. And I often recall he talking about his boss, who was an engineer, some Datto Babu. I grew up in the eastern part of India, very close to Kolkata. Some Datto Babu, some Chatterjee Babu, who was the engineer. Maybe my father used to see his reflection, wanted to see his reflection in me. And I also went, yes, Papa, I'll do everything. Then I graduated from BIT Meshara Birla Institute of Technology, which for some good reasons had almost 100% campus ratio. I got into Tata Steel from there. I had the option to be in Tata Steel, but then I also wanted to keep on kind of, breaking my comfort zone. So I keep on changing companies. I came to Tata Blue Steel in 2006. And then at the age of 42 years, I got a feeling that, no, there is something else which is my calling and I can do much bigger a job in this field. बिकॉज ये बहुत निश एरिया है. इंजीनियरिंग में तो बहुत इंजीनियर भरे हुए हैं और काफी मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर, काफी एमबीए वाले हैं, बट यहाँ शायद काफी कम लोग हैं. नाउ कमिंग टू द पॉइंट, all these people that you are conducting some programs, I think you said that you are designing a curriculum for, along with industries. Please include a session, a program on making them discover their true talent, their passion, their purpose, their vision, their core values as well, and make them set some goals. Let's include this. Because what is going to happen is that they may still go for engineering, but very soon they will start drifting in the direction it belongs to them. And then we can do what a great service we can do to the country when we can see some big time stories coming up, people who can actually transform. So let's also include that so that at least we can give a trigger to their thought process that, I'm good. Mechanical engineering or electrical engineering is a good field. IT engineering is a good field. But there is another thing which I can get into, and probably I can do something which even Elon Musk can't think of doing. And I tell people that I see Elon Musk in you and you and you. The only difference is that your field is not going to be space. Your field is something which I want to discover. It's going to be unique. So I think let's include that also, and we'll speak offline. And probably if it goes to thousands of people in the country, can you imagine? Some people actually can start a dairy farm in their village. Some people can start some chain of schools in some of these villages. Some people can find their calling and create a little agro-tourism space in their farming area, which might have been kind of left abandoned, and we can actually get them connected with Mr. Purandar and Mr. Pandurang, who is from Baramati, who has got a 55 acres of agro-tourism where many celebrities come. Shark Tank India people have come there. So Sudhir, what I'm saying is that we can actually get them connected with some of the mentors from the field, which these people discover for themselves. So we can create a huge revolution. It gives me a very exciting feeling that it may take some time, but we can create a huge transformation on the horizon of Indian employment. Sudhir, it has been 1 hour now, and it is an amazing experience for me to be talking to you. If there is anything else which you want to share, please share before you close the interaction. Anything which you want to share, so that it goes to hundreds and thousands of people over next few years.
I only say that there are 2-3 things which I do regularly. One, before going to bed every night, I ask one question to myself: what new thing did I learn today?
Wow.
Second, every morning when I get up, first question that I ask to myself is, whatever you have learned, have you implemented 1 micron of what you have learned? Implementation is the key. Correct?
It's all about action.
Third,
It's all about action.
yes, it's all about actions. Correct? Third important, whatever you do in your life, is that contributing some way or the other to anybody's life?
Wow.
Is that some way or the other contributing to anybody's life? If it does, then you are doing a great job. You know, yeah. My only simple 3 words: desire, determination, and dare. Dare means have the courage and the grit to move ahead, irrespective of whatever is the situations. Please have these 3 Ds: desire, determination, and dare to go for it, to go for the kill. I'm sure you're going to be successful in life. That's all from my end.
Very powerful sentence, words which you have said: desire, determination, which I think people have been hearing about, but they probably do not know the meaning of some of these words. We spoke about the world in high resolution, which I have started seeing. The third one is very important: dare. You see, daring, courage.
Yes,
linked to courage. And let me share with the audience that what I've seen in my life and experience, that unless you show this 1C, which is that of courage, you will never be able to identify your true potential, because courage is one of the key requirements. And I always talk about 4Cs. First, you have clarity about what exactly you want to do, like this vision board which is there in the backdrop. So clarity, and then this clarity gives you conviction to keep on moving, and this conviction will go wasted if you do not have courage, because you are going to do something which a world is not going to endorse, initially at least. And once they see you, then they will start clapping. But initially, people do not exactly get why exactly you are doing what you are doing. I'm pretty sure you also must have gone through some of these experiences. So clarity, conviction, courage, and then consistency. But how people can be consistent? It's all about action. You are absolutely right. That's the reason, despite being an author, I always say to people that I'm a coach first and a speaker and author second. Speaking is very powerful because speaking is very much required. Books, many people may or may not. Books are also both very powerful, but it all depends on the reader. But coaching is very important. It's all about action. So Sudhir, I started this initiative. Then I designed this program, which is going on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Even tomorrow is going to happen 5:30 to 6:30. You spoke about 3. Then I kept on designing a lot of things. So by rotation, I make people practice some of these things. And many corporates have started coming. Yesterday, I made a humble challenge to some of these corporate directors, and they said they were speechless. They said, thanks to them, kind of them. They said that I said that you give me your bottom performers. You call some people bottom performers. You give them to me, and I'll come and talk for 2 to 3. I'll conduct a 2 to 3 hour session, not a 2-hour session. No, 2 to 3 are good enough. It's where I'll just talk about some initial idea about this program. And then they will get connected with me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5:30, between 5:30 to 6:30, and see the transformation in next 3 months' time. I think I've seen people, Sudhir, lives have started changing with the first session only. And this bottom 15% can get you to top 30 to 40%. I'm not saying top 10% to begin with, but top 40%. It all depends. It also depends on the hunger, because some people have got the hunger, and some people say, LIC है ना, और कहीं क्यों जाना, सैलरी है ना, और कहीं क्यों जाना. तब तक होता है जब Meta and Amazon lays off some 12,000, 15,000 people. There's a science behind it. It's all connected world. Otherwise, people get completely transformed. I think let's work on this also, Sudhir, sometime, because I think I feel very, very deeply for corporates. All that I have got is because of corporates, and there's a huge potential that we can address here.
And 2 things I want to share here. 2 things. Sorry to interrupt in between.
Go on, please.
I run an HR generalist program free of cost for all the HR fraternity for last 3 batches. This is the 4th batch going on in progress. And people from Bihar, Orissa, across India join. It is early morning, 1 hour, alternate day, 2 days in a week, and it is free. And all these classes conduct live case studies that I've experienced in my life. No theory. Live case studies. Second, I have 3 projects alive. The first project that I'm working on is to create a platform for these engineers and MBA students to get their jobs. What they should do from the moment they enter the college and graduate with a job, guaranteed job skills in them. Having that skills in them is more important than getting a job. With that skill, they can be an entrepreneur, they can be a scientist, they can be a self-employed professional, or they can get a job. But building those skills in that journey of academic journey is what I'm trying to build a platform. The second area that I'm working is giving second innings. That is, second inning means employment to single mothers. That is one area where I'm working. The third area where I'm working is I want to work for all these security guards in India. They are underpaid. It is cruelty. The government laws, the people, the housing society, all underpay them. They work double duty, which is inhuman. And they're still working like mad dogs. I want to do something for millions of security guards here in India. That is my project number 3, which is in line. Probably 2 years later or 1 year later, after I finish the first 2 projects, I'll be working on them. These are the 3 large cost projects that I have in my mind, which I want to take up and ensure that they are benefited. This is all from my end.
Wow, this is awesome. I think I may need a separate session on this because I'm tempted to ask a question, Sudhir, which is very powerful. What you said is absolutely awesome. Here are we, audience, talking to somebody who has got a deep sense of purpose. Otherwise, how many people who have got family and who have got job and all that, you see, who have been spending time in the morning hours while conducting these sessions for people from different stages. He spoke about some of the states where people might be actually looking for some of the support systems. I wanted to ask you one question, Sudhir. When you reflect back, can you think about that moment in life when you got a feeling that I need to do something for the society, or maybe it might have happened 30 years ago, 20 years, I don't know. But if you can reflect back on that moment in life when you saw something happening and then you introspected and then you thought you should do something. Let's go back to that.
Absolutely. It is around 30 years back when I was searching for my first job and I found it very difficult to get my first job. That time I realized I'm a young man with a bundle of energy, with some skills and talent around me. It is just that academically I did not score well. Does that deprive me of getting a job? You know, my dad always used to tell me, Sudhir, pick up an HR, pick up a sales job and go. No, I said, no, I want to become a trainer. And people did not offer me a trainer's job just because my academic scores were not great, you know. And that I decided that I will become a trainer in life. And I am here wherever I am here by choice and by determination, by grit, and I dared to do what I wanted to do. It is not by virtue of destiny that I'm here. It is a virtue of choice and determination that I'm here. And that triggered me that if people have to struggle for jobs, even after having prerequisite qualification, desire, skills, everything, then there's a problem. 30 years earlier, when I was struggling for a job, I don't want any young man to struggle for a job in India.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. In the backdrop, let's connect the dots now. It's all a connected world for me, and that's what I've been demonstrating to people in life. I call these magical shows of transformation when I go to the stage, because I say that it's all connected. There is a word called purpose. So purpose is all about experiencing or connecting with a pain about the society, and you go through a personal experience, and then you think of doing something so that other people should not go through the same pain. You can see under purpose, there is something called coach behind my finger. Coach and inspire. When I had one moment in career when I was looking for proper coaching and I didn't find anybody, and all the coaches that I could see on social media, they were busy getting their photograph done in Ambi Valley, in a rented car, Ferrari car, and in a costly rented suit. So then I decided I'll become a coach, and I'll become a coach who can actually just talk to people even for 5 minutes or 1 day, or 10 hours or 10 minutes or maybe whatever, 2 days, and give them a seed, or at least give them a seed so that they start taking actions and they become completely transformed. So coaching and inspiring is one of these things. And of course, at the top, you see 10 times current potential. So the audience, if you want to discover your purpose, and purpose has got huge power. Going back to the example of बारूद और छोटा सा तिली लगा था, पर्पस इज दैट तिली एक्चुअली, वो पूरा आपका अंदर का जो पावर को निकालेगा ना, वो इलोन मस्क जैसा अभी हर दूसरे दिन रॉकेट छोड़ना शुरू कर देगा स्पेस में. हम से इवन लाइटर नोट, वी ऑल हैव गॉट पावर. So the best way for you to discover purpose, audience, I'm talking to the audience, is to just sit in the, preferably in the morning hours, because I always talk about morning hours, because that's the time when it is absolutely peaceful, silent, and think about one moment when you felt something was not correct, and now think about what is that you can do. Think about those 1 or 2 actions which you can do to make it better for other people so that other people do not suffer. And then of course it gets connected with passion, because you should think of doing something which is in the field of your passion, because then you can actually become that force who can go and rock. So amazing, Sudhir ji, amazing interaction with you. एक last question है कि अगर आपकी जिंदगी पर एक किताब लिखें तो उस किताब का नाम क्या होगा? अभी तक का जो एक्सपीरियंस में किताब का नाम क्या होगा? ये सवाल तो मैं सबसे पूछता हूँ. बोलिए सर.
I will again use those 3 powerful words: desire, determination, and dare. Have the courage to spread your wings and fly.
Wow. So life in 3D could be another title.
Yes. Yes.
Very nice, Sudhir ji. आपसे मिलके बात करके मजा आ गया. And thank you so much. Stay blessed, stay great, keep prospering, keep progressing, because it's people like you who have to keep on climbing the ladders of success in the field of HR. Because that's how we can bring transformation in the in corporates, which is required. Corporates are great places, but these can become certainly greater and greater. Let's be in touch offline. And audience, thank you so much for watching the video. It's not because of Sudhirji or me, it's because of you that this series is becoming stronger. It's because of you. Thank you so much for watching, and keep on sharing this link with other people that you know. Just share that link, because then you become the channel for us to add some more shine to the world around. Thank you so much. Have a great, amazing Sunday, Sudhirji. Amazing talking to you. Thank you, audience, for watching this video. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Have a great
Bye.
day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good
Great
day.
day. Great day.
Bye.